Hello and welcome to the Blue Review. Today we are talking about Iron Man 2 from Paramount Home Entertainment. Okay, so after the first Iron Man came out, which I was a big fan of, I was a little worried about Iron Man 2. It seemed like it was going to fall into the typical superhero movie cliche of doing a second film. Let's load it up with big name actors and tons of villains. Now, luckily, they didn't fall into the tons of villain category. I'm of the belief that a great superhero movie needs to have only one major villain. You can have a second and maybe even a third if they're very, very minor. But each film has to have a primary villain. When you have too many villains in a movie, you lose the focus, it's all over the place, and ultimately you lose the intensity and the intent of the film. Now, Iron Man 2 luckily doesn't fall into that category. It has one major villain that's throughout the entire film, and he's played by Mickey Rourke. Now, it's the character Whiplash, and I think what Mickey Rourke does in this role is he really brings a kind of a grounded performance. For a character that could have been way over the top and super eccentric and super kind of ridiculous, Mickey Rourke really grounds him to the point that you feel like he's a real character, that when the action and the robots and the sort of, I guess, cyborg in this instance, and the superhero stuff actually starts happening, you're able to kind of go with it and believe it, and it has more substance to it than, you know, if you didn't have any of that other stuff. Now, in the first movie, that sort of laid solely on Robert Downey Jr.'s shoulder, and he really, really brought it. He's such a good actor that he was able to bring that sort of sense of reality to his character, that when he put on the suit, you still cared about him and you still wanted to see him succeed and to overcome his foibles. Now, he carries that into Iron Man 2, but a little bit less. He sort of resorted back to being this very, very over-the-top, very arrogant character. And sort of has to learn the lesson that you can't do it all by yourself and that you do need others to help you. And, you know, even Sam Rockwell, who sort of plays the quasi-villain in the movie, I thought did a really, really excellent job. He sort of plays a character that could have been a lot more sort of ridiculous. And he sort of walked a real fine balance between sort of being a bad guy and just sort of being kind of ridiculous. Overall, I think Iron Man 2 is almost as good as the original. The original one, I think, is a little bit better, but it comes pretty close. The transfer on this one was amazing. It's as good, if not just slightly better than the first one. The video quality on this one is definitely a 5-star, and I don't give those out very much. Were there a few kind of things? To be perfectly honest with you, I didn't notice them. If they're there, they were sort of inconsequential to me. The audio track was, I mean, it was like being in the theater, at least a 4.5 to 5-star. It's a great, great disc. It lives up to all of the hype. Now, Iron Man 2 comes in 2 different sets. You can get the single disc, which features the Blu-ray, or you can get the 3-pack, which features the 2-disc Blu-ray and then the DVD digital copy. Whichever way you choose to go, definitely check out Iron Man 2 on Blu-ray. It's totally worth your time, and it's totally worth your money. So